And for those that are actually watching the game, or they're doing something else, or they may be asleep because they may be in a different area of the world or a different time zone, at least they can come back and see that they've been tagged in something special. Okay. But again, for those of you who are brand new, definitely want to welcome you to, this actual event. We do this every Monday night, guys. This is something that we've been doing for over a decade. Okay. And, I actually picked this up, from my mentor who did it a decade before me, and it worked for him, helped me make millions of dollars based on what I learned and what our team learned. And so we're taking this and we're moving it forward. So this is where you should be, in my personal opinion, if you are extremely serious about, taking your life to the next level, financially. This is where you come to increase your economic IQ. And this is where you come to get equipped. So you go out there and have that millionaire mindset. So one day your actual income and your net worth catches up to it. Okay. And so I do believe that we're on, hopefully we're on YouTube. Let me see here. Let me see if our homie is here. If we're not on YouTube right now, we should be on soon. And guys, for those of you, when you talk about that word foresight is very, very important. It means you get a chance to see in the future. You get a chance to see things coming. And that normally happens because of your experiences. And I'm going to talk about the experiences. A lot of you guys seen the title of tonight's training. And, how many of you guys, by a show of hands or with some ones, would like to know how to become an economic Einstein? How to go out there and increase your economic IQ. You want to be one of the smartest people at the bank, right? And your bank account shows it, right? Right. I'm going to give you guys a tip right now. One of the books that you got to go get, and this is one of the books that I fell in love with because it's an easy read. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. Okay. Robert Kiyosaki wrote a book, and a book made a lot of people a lot of money. People who read it and applied it, their lives have changed. It's called Increasing your financial IQ. Okay. Increasing your financial IQ. Okay. So that's important. Yeah. And so he talks about how not just to make money, how to sustain it, how to scale it, how to grow it, but how to protect it, from people who want to take it from you. Because how many of you guys know that, the more money you make, the more problems you have, the more people you have to watch out for. You got the bees, you got the bureaucrats, you got the brother-in-laws, you got everybody that's, you just got all the stuff that you got to worry about, all the people you got to worry about when you have money. Okay. So you have problems that just not the same problem that you had when you had a lack of money. Okay. And so that's a great book. That's the book. As a matter of fact, if you can have one of our leaders, let's see, I see Forrest on here, Dale's on here. One of you guys, Beverly Pitts is on here. One of you guys, go ahead and put that in the chat. The Telegram and Facebook. Increasing your financial IQ by Mr. Robert Kiyosaki. If those of you also don't know what our agenda is, our agenda literally, and one of our life missions is what we call Project Pride, PRIDE. Okay, and Pride basically stands for producing residual income in a down economy. Okay, and so we want to make sure that we continue that movement and make it, and just go out here and make strides in other people's lives. And I would just tell you, when you're putting people first, you'll never be last. The other thing is this: when you're always putting people first and people know it, it's like you have a layer of protection, on you. People are more loyal to you. People, they look out for you because they see you as the shepherd. And again, even the people who may have had ill will towards you or bad intentions towards you, sometimes because of who you are to other people and who you are to the masses, they let you make it, right? And they find another target. Yeah. And so again, always put people first, guys. Always think in masses. And how can I impact people's lives? Period. Yeah. And so that's why I said, don't marry the company, don't marry the platform, marry the process, right? And lastly, but definitely not least, our definiteness of purpose and our, project, that we have for the next 2 years. I still want to keep it at 2 years now. It's again, Project 10,000. That's where we're going to have 10,000 people get to $5,000 a month of residual recurring income, right? Okay. And so when you look at what that does for people who are in a position where they make 30, 40, $50,000 a year, now you're taking that income and in some cases doubled it. Some cases you did more than double. Or some cases you may increase somebody's income, by 50%, and they get from $100,000 to $150,000 a year. Either way, you're helping people put themselves in a situation that they're going to really appreciate you and thank you for, the rest of their lives for. And the more people you put in those positions, guys, the more wealth you create for yourself, the more security you create for yourself. That's why if you put other people first, legitimately first, with a pure heart first, that's why you can never be last. Because this is the thing, when you put people first, the thing that you do first is you go and you master everything that's required as a leader, right? Think about it for a second. How many people open up financial firms without knowing what a financial firm is first, right? You think they bring on clients without knowing what they do for a living? You think they bring on, salespeople without having the infrastructure set out and having sat down with their advisors and have probably mastered the industry for 10, 15, 20 years themselves in the field, right? They don't do that, guys. When you only open it up and you only launch it, after you are ready, okay? And so you go build yourself, into a prototype, right? And then you go out there and allow the world to watch you. Okay? You teach them by behaving in a manner that is conducive for prosperity and growth, and wealth development. And when they see that, they move with you. They follow you, right? They love you as a human being. They really appreciate who you are and what you mean to their life as a friend, as a family member, but they don't respect you as a millionaire because you're not one, right? And so when you start talking about making millions of dollars and you haven't made millions of dollars and you really can't give a person a blueprint, all you can do is point them to the company. What happens if the company folds, or what happens if something happens to the company, right? And so you want to make sure, people are following you for the right reasons. You want to make sure that people are putting you in a position of respect, and they respect you, not necessarily because you're a millionaire right now, but because they see that you are developing right before their very eyes. They see that you're growing on their behalf, not yours. Everything you're going through today, guys, is not for you. You get the benefit from what you're going through today and what you're growing through today, but this is not for you. If it's for you and you think it's for you, you're way behind. You might be ahead financially, but you're way behind on, building something that's going to help other people create legacy wealth. Okay. So when it comes to Project 10,000, again, you have to be a walking, living, breathing billboard of the process. Okay. That's about as clear, as I can do it. Because when you look at the process, and I'm gonna talk about it tonight, it don't matter what happens to one company. If you're a prototype and you're following everything that we teach, if anything happens to a platform, it don't take you out. Think about it for a second. Let's just say for those of you who are VPs, okay, if you were a VP with 3 GMs and one of your GMs left, you're still a VP. Okay? If you were a VP and 1 GM left, right, now you're a GM. But people who are building the process, like I said, it's the same thing. If you have multiple companies, you have 3 companies, like we have L Green, we have our long-term investment, we have Dream Trips, and we have SCF, right? And let's just say something happened to one of them where you're actually not getting paid or something, the company closes down. If you put all your eggs in one basket, you're the person that's feeling the pressure. You're the one that's feeling the pinch. And what happens is, but most people do, is they normally take the platform that's making them the most money or that's creating the most joy, right? And they put all those eggs in one basket, okay? Now, how many of you guys, since you were kids, before you even knew what investment was, heard this phrase, don't never ever put all your eggs in one basket. If you've heard that before, type in me one, raise your hand. I just want to see who I'm talking to, because some of us have amnesia. Some of us act like we never heard that before, right? And we talk about ignorance, guys, and ignorance, it means that you don't know, obviously, okay? But when you look at ignorance, you hear that phrase that ignorance is bliss. Well, ignorance is not bliss when it comes to your money. That's why you always want to make sure your people are in the know. And so we're going to talk about that, tonight. And I'm going to go a little bit more in detail, but like I said, I want to talk about it so bad. I've already started a little bit, but just to kind of, again, get back on subject, I got to pay the bills. I got to make a couple announcements, as they say in the commercial world. Crash Camp, guys. Crash Camp was a college course that you need to treat like a college course. Saturday, my personal opinion, there was some nuggets that was given and shared. There was some participation that when I just tell you, on Saturday, took things to a whole nother level for some people, opened some people's eyes. Okay. And I'm not going to give you a skinny or any of the lowdown on what happened. I just need you to go watch it for yourself and just trust me. Go back and watch. I don't care how you feel emotionally right now. I don't know where you're at mentally in the space right now. This has nothing to do with SCF. This has everything to do with you and who you are evolving to be. Okay. This is the thing I need you guys to see. Don't let what you see get in the way of what you saw. Okay. And don't let what you see, companies making decisions on, their behalf, without our involvement. That's an emotional situation that distracts people. I'm distracted emotionally. I didn't stay distracted. Okay. I still have a little angst, but I'm not going to let it take me out, but I'm not going to let it, distract me from what I saw. And the reason why I was behind SCF so hard, so big, so strong is because I saw the future of money. I saw what the company really is working to be, regardless of how they get there. I might not be in line, mentally and emotionally where they're at, but I do see the vision on what they're doing, what they're putting together, and how they're shaping up versus the field. And that's the thing, guys. When you're looking at investments, how many of you guys know somebody, right, that's invested in a Fortune 500 company or some kind of stock, that people taught it, people promoted, people suggested? How many of you guys know people who invested in stocks like that and something happened to the stock and the stock plummeted? Yeah. Okay. So this is the thing. It's nothing different, just because you're in, SCF, things go up, things go down. And guess what happened? When Apple stock drops and you got Apple stock, who you call? Who you complain to? Nobody. Right? When your 401k crashed, and most of y'all, a lot of people who had 401ks lost 30%, 25%, all the rest of this money you lost, based on somebody else's advice and somebody else's expertise that you didn't have anything to do, you didn't have any say about. What did you do? Some of y'all doubled down. Okay. So don't be situational based. Okay. Don't behave in a manner that you wouldn't normally behave with your boss or other investors and other firms and blue chip stocks that crashed or came down. S&P, guys, has been down. How many of y'all know people who invested in S&P, have S&P shares, right? And what did it do? Stephen, thank you, Stephen. What you dealt with it. You hope and pray that it bounces back, and history shows that it will bounce back, right? And so you're going to hold and you're going to go on with your life because you're in an uncontrollable position. You can cut your losses and take what you got left, but that makes no sense because what goes up must come down, and what goes down. I can just tell you right now, if you bet on the right horse, it'll go up. If you bet on the right stock, it goes back up. Remember, guys, there's not one thing out there that you can ever invest in and ever will invest in, guys, that's going to go up forever. Okay. There's not one stock that has a trend line that goes like that. You never see a correction point. Okay. So when I say that, I'm on this part right here. When you see stocks, they kind of go like this. Say they go up and they go down, right? So what do you call this? These are valleys. Some people call them valleys, but business people who really understand what's going on here, they call these. Put it on your main screen. Oh, let me see. 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. Speaker. Okay. All right. Thank you, babe. Appreciate it. Teamwork make the dream work. All right. So can y'all see it better? Awesome. Okay. So again, like I said, when you look at stocks, guys, you look at anything that you invest in, they have the ability to go up, they have the ability to go down and come down. These are what I call correction points. Okay. And so when you're down here in the valley, you figure out, okay, what do I need to adjust? You know, how do we miss that? You know, or what, how do we get to, you know, going back in a different direction, the right direction, right? And so every company has it. Any company and every company that's ever been great, guys, they have them. There's not one company, Apple, the most admired company in the world. They made some decisions that drove the stock down. Go back and look at the history of Apple, right? Go back and look at the history of a lot of major blue chip companies, Microsoft, you know, all of them. Companies that people that made billions of dollars individually, not the company. People have made billions of dollars. Guess what? Those people also made $1 million, multi-million dollar, $100 million mistakes. Your government is out of money almost, right? Because they made mistakes. They invested in a war. And again, I'm not talking politics. I'm just telling you from a business perspective, they invested in a war, so much money in a war that if they went to war themselves, they wouldn't have enough money to fight it. Okay. And you have people who are in America who are upset about that. You have people who are in America who support them. Okay. And there's no right or wrong. It's just that's how you feel, right? And so let's do this. Let's go back and say, okay, what was who was that? Who was that on? Let me see here. As a matter of fact, I know because I got my notes. Let me see. Barb. Barb said, I get to have shares in FCF in a public blockchain. I get to have shares. Talking about when she talked about those nodes, she said, I get to. She's not upset that she has to. She's just looking at it from a glass half full perspective. And when you look at it as if it's a blessing, as if you're grateful, as if you really are in an area of appreciation when it comes to that, you can't help but have a blessed business, a blessed portfolio. You can't help but have a good vibe when you're talking to people and you're around people, right? You got a lot of people out there who are down, right? They got nodes and they're down. I get it. Like I said, guys, you trust me. I'm by myself $4,000 a day. I need that money. I don't want it, Bev. I need it. You know what I'm saying? I got things to do too, right? And I'm sitting here with 𝐿𝐲 because it don't matter whether you lost $100 or in the nose, $500, $5,000, $50,000. It don't matter. $100,000, $5,000 a day. Don't matter. Anybody who lost something, somebody lost more than you. Okay. You always hear the problem. Hey, look, you say you got problems, guys. Well, there's always somebody who's got it worse than you do. Sitting down with 𝐿𝐲 for dinner helped me put some things in perspective. And I'm already have a good, perspective on things, but it kind of crystallized it for me because not only did I see a person who was at 15 grand a day, right? The dude hit MD plus the day they shut it down. The day they converted to no's, he was supposed to go to $20,000 a day. And they shut it down. Okay. And so sometimes that we got to really learn how to really take things, process information without putting negative emotions in it, and process it in a really good spirit, so you can come out on the other side, ready to make a really good sound decision based on, what's best for you at that point. Because you can't make a good decision, having bad emotions tied to it. Because I'm looking at this man, and I'm looking at his group. Now, we're part of his group. We have thousands of people in our group. He's probably got about 10,000 plus in his, right? Our groups are closed to comments on purpose. His groups are open. It won't be happening. That won't be happening no more. Because we had a conversation about why he shouldn't open those groups. But when you have a group and it's wide open, and it's a Telegram group and everybody can comment, right? And it's a WhatsApp group and everybody can comment. What happens is when somebody's at $1,000 a day, they loving you. You're the GOAT. Okay? There's nobody greater than you, because nobody in their family's history and lineage has ever helped them get to $1,000 a day in income while they had a job, right? You're making more money on your job than you do, make more money on SFC than you do on your job. And you're the GOAT. $2,000 a day, $5,000 a day. And then when something out of your control happens, now you're the reason, that everybody's losing money. You're the reason for the treason. No, it's not my company. It's not 𝐭𝐲𝐬's company, right? And people are now attacking someone who has zero control. And this is the thing I want you guys to understand. First of all, you're not in 𝐭𝐲𝐬's group. 𝐭𝐲𝐬 don't have a group. You're not in my group, because I don't have a group. 𝐭𝐲𝐬 has a genealogy. I have a genealogy. The group comes and belongs, when it comes into the company as an investor or a staker, it belongs to the company. It's the company's group, right? That's why the company makes decisions without you or me. We are the equivalent of an employee, when it comes to properties or processes and platforms like this, okay? So we gotta really grow up here. We gotta really put things in perspective and really call it what it is. Some of us made some emotional decisions with our money and it didn't turn out right. And that stings, it hurts. Some of us, and they did it in my personal opinion, they did it at the worst time. There's no good time, but the worst time. The time we pay our mortgage, our rent, car notes and stuff like that, tuitions is a private school for our kids, all this stuff. It couldn't have been a better time. I mean, for us it was worse, but it couldn't have been a better time for them, obviously, because they did it on that day for a reason. But you got to understand that when something happens, it's not 𝐭𝐲𝐬's fault. Just like it's not your fault. None of y'all pushed the button. None of y'all was in any board room meetings. None of y'all had any conversations with the owners of the companies. And guess what? Y'all don't even know who the owners of the companies are. Or the people who actually make all the decisions for the blockchain, the public chain that we have. Y'all don't even know who they are, right? So let's make sure we keep things in perspective. Let's make sure we move like professionals, guys, because if we don't, your group, the people who are in your groups and the people who are in your genealogies, they become mob. They become a mob. Let's say that. Okay. Now they start to attack you because you're the person that brought it to them, not the person that hit the button. It's nothing wrong. There's nothing right about that. Okay. So, but again, that's important. But just sitting down, with him and just watching how he was handling it and having a conversation with him, he really and truly said, you know what? I've already, made peace with it. I have no choice. I know I can't control it. And so I'm just happy that, I built an organization. I worked and did presentations every day to build an organization big enough to where I actually have nodes that I can live off of. And you can't get mad at him because he did the work that you wasn't willing to do. He did the growing that you wasn't willing to do. That's the thing. You gotta take things and put things in perspective. Everybody had opportunities to go out here and do something big. Everybody had opportunities to go out there and really, I like what Steven said, lead by example, because all of y'all are leaders in a sense to where you put yourself in a position where you are now bringing people onto a platform that they quite frankly are new to and don't understand, right? But you're looking at a man who did presentations twice a day for multiple countries, built up a really nice size portfolio. And right now he's in a position where if he didn't do another presentation, if he didn't go out here and set up another, everyday presentation type scenario, which he will at some point once he gets his information that he needs to where we can go ahead and present, for what the actual known is, he can just, say, well, I'm gonna go out here and do something different. I'm just going to abandon these people. And so, which it was not going to be an abandonment, but somebody's going to say he abandoned us, right? I'm going to go out here and invest on my own. I'm going to go out here. I got a lot of money coming in over here on the nodes. I can live on that. That's paying my mortgage. And I just know that we'll be a part of, we're going to be a part of Binance in January. We'll be here and there. They're going to pay out everything in December and January. From the first nodes, they'll pay out everything. And, in February, April, March, whatever, and for the second nodes. And, whatever I got in stake, and I'll let that ride. But I'm going to go over here and invest in this or invest in this, and I'm just going to do my thing because I'm done. People don't appreciate me. Right. So what do you think that mob, what do you think happens to that mob at that point in time? It gets out of worldly, just out of there. They go crazy. So again, you got to learn how, again, to protect, the people who are protecting you. And that's the thing that I really and truly, appreciate, because I watched, people in that group, and I watched how they came at them. I watched how they attacked them, and for no reason whatsoever. Okay. And so, but I told him, I said, look, if I were you, I would have never opened up a group to anybody to comment. The only way a person can comment is if I'm going live on Zoom or something like that, and then if they got something they want to say, that's fine, but we're not, we got to protect people from other people. All of you have investments in this company that when you look at somebody negative coming in on from the outside, they're saying something really, really negative, it could affect each and every last one of your investors. And you don't want people, doing that to you and your people. And that's the thing I tell you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys because you guys are professionals. And the only difference between your group and their group is they don't have the leadership, right, that put them in a position where they have an environment that's conducive for positivity. Okay, we have grown people that don't know how to behave because they wasn't taught how to behave in situations like this, right? So you guys, you move with respect. And so you move with appreciation and gratitude. So, and belief and trust. And so that's, again, we talked about that. Me, him, and Laker, we talked about that. So, but yeah, that's Barb. Y'all can thank Barb for that nugget. We get to, right? So with that being said, let me go back over here and finish this thing up, but go back and watch Crash Camp, guys, because it was amazing. It was amazing because of the participation, and these guys brought up some good stuff that you guys can make some serious money off of. Mogul Lifestyle Weekend, Cruising with the Beans on July 25th. Go to foresight-mg.com and reserve your room if you haven't, your cabin if you haven't. Dream Trips, guys, make sure if you are already a part of Dream Trips, make sure you're checking your emails, especially if you're building it. Because I just found out today when Kim looked at the emails that we won a trip to Cancun. They're having the Dream Trip event in December, I think the 10th through the 15th, something like that. And we actually earned that. And then we also earned the cruise. So we qualified for the cruise as well. So check your emails, guys. And because I don't want you guys to miss those moments. If you're building it and you earned it, check your emails. Stay plugged into your information. Lance Green, again, I'm doubling down on Lance Green. My wife has doubled down on Lance Green. We're popping in our accounts. So we're, again, just because it's all about, leveraging other platforms. We've been pulling money, from, Lance Green, just like we've been pulling money from SCF. Okay. But now what I'm doing now is I'm changing my ratio, if you will. I'm changing my ratio, and I'll go over that. Matter of fact, yeah, I'll go over that in a minute. But I'll go over it now. Everybody's got different portfolios that I think different platforms in their portfolios that you guys are investing in. Let's say you have 4. Let's say you have SCF, L-Green, Dream Trips, and let's say you have one more long-term investment or something that you invest in on your own time as well. Because I know a lot of you guys have other platforms and investments that you have. Well, what you do is, okay, out of 100%, because there's only 100 pennies in $1. Okay, what you do is you figure out what percentage is going to your number 1, what percentage is going to your number 2, what percentage is going to your number 3, and what percentage is going to your number 4. It could be, 75, 10, 10, 5. It can be 50, 25, 15, and 10. In this way, I'm just telling you, you get a chance to move your money around. You can spread your money out and allow your money to work for you in different places. It's not going to perform the same. Again, this is why I want you guys to get out of the lottery mentality and get out of the greed mentality, because some of you guys just won't put money in anything else. You get fixated on one thing. You see 1.4% and you lose your mind. Okay. Well, what do you have when the 1.4% goes away? Okay. And I want you to also, when we talk about foresight, guys, you got to understand that a company, any company that's still staking, right? I see windows. Okay. And windows open and windows do what? They close. Right. And when a company needs funding, okay, which we were their crowdfunding source twice. Okay. I looked at, how this thing is moving. I'll see that, okay, it's time for us to launch, FSL or whatever it is. Let's go ahead and put everything in nodes. And they basically, instead of building it organically, they used us and our money. Okay. And again, that's one of those things. But when they do that and you have 100% of your money in there, that's where the emotion comes from. In Grant Cardone, we call that a complaint, right? That you're mad because you made a decision, and instead of diversifying and put money in different places, now you got to look at all your money sit in one spot for 6 months, right? And so that's why for me, I'm always, and you got to write this part down, I am always 100% of the time and 100% of the platforms, I'm going to make sure I have a plan on getting my money back right away. See, some of you guys play the waiting game. You said, well, it's going to double in 2 months at 1.4%. Well, 2 months it went to nodes. I'm getting my money back in a week to 2 weeks. I'm doubling it in a week to 2 weeks. And if it's small amount, like $5,000, I'll probably double that thing 4 or 5 times in the first 30 days. Okay. You got to have that mentality where you double it right away. Don't wait for the system, right, to double it for you. Don't wait for the system to do the work for you. You go out and do the work yourself. Roll up your sleeves, go out there in the trenches, double your money with your blood, sweat, and your tears. Get out there and make it happen, right? That's what my personal, mode operations is, okay? Then at that point in time, I'll start pulling money out and reallocating funding. Because now I'm playing with house money, right? I got my money back. I'm playing with house money. And now I can breathe easy. As anytime anything happens to any platform that we've been on, I never really and truly sweat the money that's left in the system for me. I still have $300,000, $350,000 in a company that starts with an N. I'm not gonna call that company's name out. Yeah, some of y'all still have some emotional scar tissue from that. But I only put $10,000 in, I got $250,000 out. Okay, out. They can have a 350. I turned 10,000 into 250 in my pocket, right? So I don't have an emotion on that, right? I already had like 2 or 3 other things that we've already started investing in. My long-term project, that's like, again, just still doing what it's supposed to do. Funds that went down as well. And L-Green, that's still up and doing this thing, 1% a day, right? So my eggs in different baskets. I put $3,000 in to Dream Trips. It didn't come out of my pocket. It came out of SCF's account, right? I pay for my investments with other investments. I haven't used a dime of my money since February 2 years ago. All the money that I've made, we made over $1 million in the last 18 months, well over $1 million, okay? And that came from $10,000 out of my pockets and $20,000 out of Kim's. $30,000. We did that based on our building philosophy, okay? And this is why you are in groups like this, so you can learn that. But if you're just going to place your money in the company and then go out there and not paying attention to it, not learn the process, not learn the platform, not learn how to scale your money, you're at the mercy of the company. Okay, guys, you gotta show up for your own. You gotta show up for your own rescue. Right? If you're going to retire yourself, remember I said yourself, because everybody else is going to retire you. SCF is not going to retire you. SCF is just a tool to use to help you get more and more money to continue to invest, so one day you can retire. It's not SCF's job to actually retire you. It's not SCF's job to make you rich, right? SCF's job is to build a public chain that'll go out there and stay in business and reward the people who invested in it. That's their job. They're doing their job, whether we like how they're doing it or not. That's their job. Our job is to make sure that we take care of our business. We mind our business. Okay. But you gotta, like I said, Lance Green is doing this thing. We're making that happen. Let's see here. On the 25th, the update will actually be there for the SCF, FUSD, stuff like that. All that updates on the 25th. And I'm just waiting on, I think they're supposed to be making some type of decision on leadership type stuff, after that, shortly after that, or around that time, at which time I'll be able to tell the people who I've had invest money already over the last couple of days, because I have them, they've invested, they got money in their wallets, and they staked already, but I have them at a, just sit there and stake until we figure out how we're going to build. Once I figure out when they make whatever announcement we're going to make about the leadership stuff, that's when we'll actually build, because that's when I'll know, what the rules of the game are. So we can win by the rules that they actually put out. Okay. Let's see here. But yeah, staking, mining, team rewards are all being paid out right now. And for those of you, I have multiple sub accounts like GM accounts or VP accounts, stuff like that, that I have beneath several of my leaders. I am not catching a lot of those accounts up that are in the negative until those specific groups are actually building, thriving, stuff like that. My main account, I count that one up. I basically caught up to the cap and went beyond the cap with my staking, and that's because that volume is already there. The people are already there. The money is already there. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I would be giving them back more money, if I did not stake and go ahead and become current. So if you have a GM position and you have the volume and you have not staked, you're losing money. Okay. You're losing money. So make sure if you have a GM account and that GM account is short a couple $1,000s or a short a person or two, I would go ahead and start staking that right now, because that way, when it does qualify, you don't lose any money. But if you have multiple sub accounts and the activity is not going, at this moment, you don't have the volume there, I wouldn't put anything in it right now. Okay. Let's see here. It's a lot of stuff. I'm on off these notes. Oh, also, for those of you who are, especially if you're looking at some of your accounts, you see some of your accounts are upside down, they have a cap, is because of their guidelines, their rules, and SCF leadership cap guidelines are going to be put into the Facebook group. Omi's going to put those in the Facebook group. If she hadn't done so already, they'll be there tomorrow for sure. But it'll tell you again, all the guidelines on, let's see, yeah, it'll tell you the calculation rules for team net inflow. It'll tell you how to increase your team net flow, and how to stay positive, how to make sure you stay profitable, what type of money counts, what type of money don't count. It's going to, and I have it right here, this is a lot, and I can't share this on the screen, it's just on my notes, but Omi has them, stay tuned for that. That information will be put in there, because that's something that you really do need to know. That way you'll have people who are building it organically. They won't be buying positions. They won't be stacking, volume, in a position just to get GM out of their own pocket. Because after you do that, then what? Okay, now you got to continue to service it and keep it up out of your pocket, because you don't have group, revenue coming in to do it for you and to do it the way it's supposed to be done. And so again, they're policing that situation to make sure that they don't hemorrhage money from people who know how to game the system. Okay. And so there's a lot of people out there who had $100 a day who did not hit GM, but they were getting $100 a day in 2 days, right? People were getting $250, $300 a day in a week to 2 weeks, and the volume wasn't coming in. It was because they basically say, you know what, I got $100,000 to play with, I had $150 to play with, or I had $50,000 to play with, and they just put the money in multiple positions, and the company saw that. Okay, and so again, that's the thing that they got to police the system for that. But that's going to be there for you guys. Let's see here. Oh, very, very important. Before I get into the actual training, okay, you got to protect yourselves, guys. Okay, and these are some do's and don'ts. When it comes to how you move forward. A lot of you guys have already been moving like this because you've been plugged into the system. But for those of you who are here, you're catching up with us, and you're trying to get together, and you want to really know how to take this thing to the next level, and protect yourself at the same time. Always use the disclaimer. Don't think just because you're not giving a presentation, the disclaimer is not necessary. Okay. When you give a disclaimer, that person knows that you're not an investor, that you are not representing them, you're not handling their money, you're not making any decisions on their behalf. They know that the company is 100% responsible for everything that happens to their money, whether it grows up and blows up and they make it get rich, or it goes away or it minimizes based on the company's needs. Without that disclaimer, everybody is getting the disclaimer. As a matter of fact, my attorney has told me after the day, I had to sit down with our attorney today and the ways to protect us, because we had a situation to come up. I'm not going to give any names, but he said, hey, look, if I were you in the future, when you have people, especially people who are going to put big money in, when you give the disclaimer, you just have them sign like a little one-off saying, hey, they know the company is responsible for anything and everything beyond this point. Okay, and so that's something that I'm going to implement for my big account people, my people who I know for a fact that they have some significant income they want to put in, and I've told them only invest what they can afford to lose or part with. I want to make sure that doesn't come back to bite me. Okay, because we had some people who made some threats, say, hey, look, you know what, there's always one. And I'm blessed to have that one. I'm not as that one is, it doesn't, I don't personally, I hate that the person took the position that they took because they didn't reach out. Okay. And so that person got upset, and with the node situation, and the crazy part about it is that person converted their own nodes. Their leader showed them how to convert the nodes, and they converted their own nodes. That person went back to the bank multiple times and multiple trips, getting money, wiring money to the company. And all of a sudden, it's the leadership fault and my fault. Somebody who I talked to the person on a three-way just to say hi, hey, answer some questions and get off. But it's my fault because I have a bigger name, and it's their fault. And this is what they're going to go and tell Wells Fargo tomorrow or today. This is what they're going to tell whoever they're going to tell. And I'm like, you know what? That person is not thinking. That person is emotionally challenged, because right now, for me, we're just waiting for a defamation of character suit. We're just waiting to go right back at that person, because that person is in a lose-lose situation, because you're blaming me for something that I had nothing to do with. But at the end of the day, I got to take care of myself. I got to protect myself. I got to protect the platform. I got to protect my family. And that person's put me in a position where now, not only do we have to kick them out of the group, but, you said you're not making any money. Well, your nodes is invested and that's making money every day, which is a lie, which we can prove. Okay. So everything that you're trumping up, everything that you're about to tell, whoever you're about to tell is a lie. It's going to blow back on you. Every presentation you saw, the presentation that you saw had a disclaimer on it, and it was read out in front of you. So let's make sure, guys, you understand that when things go wrong, when things go bump in the night, people forget everything. They forget ethics. They forget what they saw in the presentation. They forget what you told them. They have selective listening, and then they get creative with their stories. Okay. Just saying. So always use a disclaimer. Have clear, concise conversations. Have clear, concise conversations. Okay. Make no promises. And y'all should be writing this down. I'm telling you. Don't be the person. I'll come back and listen to it again, man. I would write all of this down because this is one of the things that Robert Kiyosaki says is protect your money, protect your investment, protect your brand. Okay, and this is how you do that. Operate in integrity 100% of the time. Don't overpromise anything because you're not in a position where you can deliver anything. It's not for you to promise. Okay, always use 3 ways. Not just to help a person make a decision or get a person's questions answered, but as a witness. Just saying, 3 ways and lifelines. Always use 3 ways and lifelines because you have a witness that a person is happy about the decision that they made. They're excited about the decision they made. And when you ask them what they like best about what they saw, they're telling you, I invested, I staked because I'm excited about the 1.4%, or I'm excited about me firing my boss, or I'm excited about, and that's why you write this stuff down. Remember, just like you don't talk in front of a police officer without an attorney, because then the words that you say may be used against you in a court of law. That works both ways. That's why you also record conversations when you do them on Zoom. I record my Zooms on purpose. Because what? Hey, I got it on Facebook. I got it on Zoom. We did the disclaimers. This person knew exactly what it was. We made no promises, and we are in no control. We're not responsible for anything or anybody. Okay, but operate in integrity. Remember, you don't have to lie to get a person to invest. If you do, there's something wrong with you because there's nothing wrong with the marketing plan of the company, right? If a person 100% everything's going right, no problem. You don't have to lie. Always use 3 ways, like I said, for witness purposes. Make people fund their accounts if possible. The more you make them do, the better off you are. When people wire money to these exchanges from their banks and stuff like that, that's them wiring their money. That's them leaving a paper trail for you to go back and say, hey, see, I got an attorney Sloan over there nodding her head. So yeah, she's agreeing with me. Right. So tell them, attorney, tell them what I'm saying is right. Tell them what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Everything you're saying is right, 100% on target. Please listen to Mr. Bean.
Heard it here first. I'm trying to protect y'all, man. I'm telling you. So make people fund their own accounts if possible. Make sure anything that they can do to show a paper trail, make sure that they do it. Okay. Even if they give you cash, make sure they give you, if they give me cash, get a receipt if you have to. Make them sign something, say, look, you turn this cash over to me for X, Y, and Z amount of staking in SCF. Make them sign something if that's the case. But right now, this is the wild, wild west, guys. And crypto is the wild, wild west. And people will throw you under the bus, even if they know they can't get their money back, just for retaliation purposes only. And it's not your fault. Okay. Remember, anybody ever heard this statement? If you heard this statement before, put 1 in the chat. Hurt people hurt people. Misery loves company, guys. And when a person is hurt and they're at their lowest, they want to drag you down, crab in a barrel style, right? Alaskan king crab style, big claws. They want to bring you all the way down to the bottom, right? And so hurt people hurt people. Okay. And also when you're having conversations with people, this is one thing that's a pet peeve of mine. Stop texting people. Okay. Have that first conversation. If a person is having a bad day, that first conversation should be verbal, right? And if it's a bad conversation, you feel like it's going to be a bad conversation, record it. Okay. Record it. Because again, you're going to be the person on there with, most of the time, the common sense. You're going to be the level-headed person. You're going to be the calm, cool, collected one, right? And you want to make sure that you can show, hey, I tried everything, in my power to make sure this person understood what it is. Again, I wanted to reiterate what it was again, but have a conversation with a person, because text messages are subjective. Okay. People get their own idea of what you're saying based on how they're feeling. It's positive if they're happy. It's negative if they're not, right? And so they will twist and turn everything you actually text them, and they'll use it right against you. Okay. And it'll be to their demise. But if you don't have, now it'll be yours if you don't have a record of it. Okay. That's why everybody's got dash cams and all these other cameras and all this other stuff, and cell phones program. They recording everything these days, because again, if you don't, it's your word against theirs. And that's just not that's a recipe for disaster in a lot of different cases. But at some point, guys, you also may want to have either an attorney on, and this is when you get that money, get your money up a little bit, or have an attorney on retainer, or at least have access to counsel, legal counsel, that will, give you an opportunity to do a little business for you at a discounted rate, saying something that you can afford. So like I said, I'm just waiting for things that, whatever it is, that this person's gonna do, so I can send a cease and desist letter and let them know what my intentions are if they don't stop. Okay, because if you think you have financial problems because you overinvested, what happens to you now at this point, it gets worse, because now you have a legal battle that you can't afford to fight. So that's the thing. That's why, so you have to protect yourself, guys. People do have amnesia. And so that's why I say it's to that point. So those are, the precursor things. These are what I want to talk about now. Okay, this is a little bit of some money matters, some tips and some things, and then I'm gonna give you guys, the secret on, the things that you want to know on how to become an economic Einstein. But right now, this is a time where you guys should really be focusing on getting your credit above 800. Okay. There's a lot of things that are about to happen in the future, near future. Some of us not credit ready, and some of us are. But you should have a goal to have an 800 credit score ASAP. Okay? Because the richest people in the world, they don't use their own money. The richest people in the world use everybody else's money. I'll give you an example. If I would have taken, let's say 50 grand out of Wells Fargo to invest, I wouldn't have put all 50 grand in the SCF. I would have put 25 grand in SCF. I would have put 15 grand in Lance Green, and I would have actually put about, I would have put in this situation about 35 grand in SCF and about 15 grand in Lance Green. That's how I would have. You're talking about the ratios, again, but you have those options when you have that credit, right? You have those options when you have good credit. So make sure you're working on your credit. Think about the emotions that would go through your spirit if your credit jumped 150 to 250 points over the next 30, 60, 90 days. You'd be looking at your credit score like it was your back office saying, hey, I just hit MD, because that means something, right? So make sure you make that a priority. Okay. But you also want to make sure, guys, when it comes to diversification, you want to diversify off platform. You want to make sure now when you start repurposing money, you want to make sure you make those investments, but also you need to find you a situation where you have an IUL policy that you can create, or that you can invest in, $50,000, $100,000, $250,000, $500,000, whatever it is. So now once you invest in it, 30 days later, you can go back and borrow from it, okay, to invest in another platform, up to 80%. Okay, so let's get back down to again, brass taxes right now. Let's get back down to the basic investment, things that are going on. So again, that's another thing. Make sure you insurance policy, IUL policy of some sort that will allow you to go back in and borrow 30 days later. Okay. Also, something for those of you who are building credit right now, flip back over this real quick. One of the ways that I've been building up my credit lately is I found, and there's a lot of these credit card companies, a lot of these bank companies now, a lot of you guys are seeing like extra cards and Experian cards where, these are bank cards. These are savings account bank cards that anytime you make a purchase out of your actual account, which a lot of y'all do, a lot of y'all have Visa logo bank accounts and the MasterCard logo bank accounts. And when you make purchases from your savings account or your checking account with that card, right, you don't get credit for it. You're managing how much money you spend, but you don't get credit for it. When you have an extra card or you have one of these cards that give you credit on a credit bureau based on your purchases, now you get paid for shopping out of your savings. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Extra card has, a program where you can pay $9 a month or you can pay $84 for the year or something like that. And you pay that fee because, and that's their monthly fee. Now, every time you make a purchase on your extra card, it's coming out of a bank account that you have attached to your bank card. And so what they're saying is this person made a purchase and this person paid that purchase off. Okay. They literally, it functions like a credit card. You get credit boost from that. And so like I have like one of my accounts, especially my big purchases, if I'm about to spend, like I buy my flight, I just booked a trip for my brother for his birthday and I bought everybody's ticket to like $2,800 in tickets, right? And instead of buying it on my regular credit card, I bought it out of my bank account on my extra card. Okay. So the money's in there. I was going to spend it anyway, but now I have a $2,800 transaction that's paid off, paid in full, almost like Amex. When you pay Amex off, you pay it off every 30 days. It pretty much starts to show up something like that. And even if you have a Visa, MasterCard, you have a big balance, if you pay it off, even though you're not required to, you pay it off every 30 days, or almost immediately, guys, that shows up great on your credit. But that business card, that bank card, again, do some research, right? Because that's something that you can add to your portfolio. It's something you can add as a credit boosting situation. Now, and you can have more than one. The other thing is this CDs. Right now, they're finally giving you 5% on CDs, but this is what you want to do. You're not doing it for the 5%. Get your CD, okay? And then, but make sure you get a CD from a bank that will allow you to actually borrow against the CD once you purchase it, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, try to find a small bank. Try to find a local bank that needs your business. Don't worry about like the Wells Fargo's and stuff like that. Find a small bank that needs your business. I found a bank that says, you know what? Yeah, we have CDs and you can actually borrow against the CD. Here's the third part of this. This is the other caveat to it. Once I borrow against it, will you report it to the credit bureau? Oh yeah, we report. Okay, great. So I went into the bank and opened up a $5,000 CD first, and then I went back and got another one. And so immediately after I opened up the $5,000 CDs, I borrowed against both of them. Okay. And I took the money out, I put the money in the bank account, and I have automatic withdrawals coming straight from those accounts going right back to the payoff. Okay. And so after about 12 months, I'm going to take what's in there and pay off the CD period. Okay. So it'll show up as paid off before, and better than agreed, which shows up great on your credit. Even though it's a secured loan, it's still a loan that's paid off, period. Okay. And again, that's just money that you have that's in your bank account, not making you no money. It's money that you have that you want to keep in your bank account for case of emergencies, but you want it to be performing for you in some capacity. Okay. And so that's the thing. Again, that's important. So we look at credit, that's important when it comes to credit. But you do want to make sure your credit is good. So now the other thing is this: when you do your budgets, most people budget for poverty. You can't budget your way to wealth. Okay, you have to budget yourself towards surplus, excess, which means that you want to make sure that you're adding income, to your budget. So when you look at again increasing your financial IQ, Robert Kiyosaki talked about it, and he put it in a different way. But instead of budgeting and trying to save your way to a fortune, what you do is you take your budget and then you add income to it, right? And so you make another stream of income, basically. So now you have more money to play with, and now you have money that you're saving within your budget, but you also have extra money that you're using to liquidate other stuff as well. So now, not only are you budgeting and you can pay everything, pay everything on time, you can pay it off, but you can also increase your surplus and excess at the same exact time. Nobody should be spending 100% of the money that they're earning from any platform that they're making money on. That's not your money right now. It's in your possession. That money belongs to your investment. That money belongs to your household. The money belongs to your commitments and obligations. Take care of your commitments and obligations before you party. Okay. But budget for a surplus, basically. Come up with a strategy to liquidate accounts while you're growing your other ones. Some of you guys who make $10,000 a month, you have $9,000 worth of bills. That's miserable. What happens when you actually do that and you take the money from the excess that you have coming in from your platforms and you liquidate those bills, and one day you're down to $8,000 in bills. Then you're down to $7,000 in bills. Then you're down to $3,000 in bills, which is your mortgage, right? And then you start taking that, you start taking $2,500 from the excess that you got, because you got $7,000 worth of excess. You take $2,500 off that excess, right, and add it to the $3,000 a month. Now you're paying into the actual meat of the mortgage and paying it off early. Okay. Give you an example. We literally, in 4 years, we've been in this house 4 years. We've already paid down 17 years worth of the mortgage. Just by paying extra. They're not making any money off of me. They'll make a little bit, but they're not gonna make what they thought they was gonna make. See, they would have normally you'll pay for 2 houses by the time you pay for the first one, right? You'll pay for 2. You'll pay for that house twice. You'll pay for your house and you'll buy them one to sell to somebody else, so they can double up on that new one. That's how they get rich. I make people regret selling me anything because you don't make no money off of me. When I bought the Range Rover I just bought, I changed my mind at the last minute. I said, don't make any sense to, here going back to the credit, don't make any sense to give these people all that money at one time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pay half of it right now. One, I don't have to worry about the bridge insurance because I paid half of the car price. One, which is $30,000, and then with the $30,000 that's left, I'm gonna pay it off in 6 months, $5,000 a month. And say 6 months. Why? Well, 6 months, I get 6 months of really good credit rating on paying that vehicle off early. They gave me a 6-year, whatever the interest was. I don't even remember what the interest was on it. But actually, the $30,000 I put down, it brought the interest down from 12% to 6.25%, which is still irrelevant because again, I'm not going to pay it off in 6 years. I'll pay it off in 6 months. So this is how you again boost your credit rating. This is how people, run to start giving you money and credit cards and lines of credits and stuff like that. When they start seeing how you're performing, because your credit is a portfolio for them. They're looking at everything in your portfolio and how you behave. They're looking at if you're worthy for them to actually risk capital on you. Right? And these are just a couple of things here. So talk about budgeting budgeting for surplus. I talked about leveraging already and security, basically leveraging for a peace of mind. But when I talked about the percentages. So when you look at the people who have the most successful investment portfolios and stuff like that, people who have made the most money in business as entrepreneurs, the people who have the lifestyle that other people dream about, is because they've utilized 1, 2, 3, or 4 of these knowledges that I'm about to drop on you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, or 4. The people who've made the most money or who've had the biggest increases in net worth, they've used 2, 3, or 4. 3 or 4 or 4, it will get you the most, because again, you've learned from all 4 of these things and you've mastered them, and you're probably making money that you never even thought you'd make based on, again, what all you learned and how you learned it. One thing you should always do, guys, before I go into this stuff, is stay in student mode. It's okay wanting to be the leader, but the best leaders stay students. So the people who want the credit, again, they get out of student mode real fast. The people who want the cash, they stay in student mode all the time. I'm always in student mode. I don't know anything about well, I do now, but I didn't know a thing about blockchains and stuff like that. That stuff was terrifying to me. So 𝐭𝐲𝐬 at that time was my leader, right? I needed somebody to turn to. I needed somebody to pour into me. I needed somebody to make this make sense to me and give me a nice warm and fuzzy, right? And so I'm in student mode. So if I'm not in student mode, I don't make $100,000 in 35 days the first time around. If I'm not in student mode, I don't make $130,000 in 60 days this time around. Okay. And I'm still in student mode. Okay. Just want to make sure to stay in student mode, live in student mode. The moment you come out of student mode because you think you have arrived, everything will leave you. You may not see it leave you, okay, but it'll leave you based on that decision. It just won't leave right away. It's kind of like people who said, well, I got divorced last month. No, you got divorced 3 years ago. It was just final last month. When you get a big head, you get an ego, and you feel like you know it all, and you can't learn anymore, you've lost it all. It's just a matter of time before we witness it visibly. Okay. So let me see here. Seeing as how the people who you follow, the people you learn from, will determine, where you end up. You really and truly may want to pick, your leaders and your coaches and mentors carefully. I always start with integrity, because everybody knows how to make money. I always start with the person who has integrity. I always start with the person who has character. I always start with people who have my best interest at heart. And I don't care. See, I don't care about how much money you can make off me if you got my best interest at heart. I don't. I really don't. I want you to make money. And it's good that I don't have to pay you out of my pocket, that the company's going to pay you a ton of money for helping me. Helping me, your percentage is going to be nice. So you should invest a lot of time in it, right? And that's the way y'all all should feel. The more time you invest in me, the more money you get as an override. That's how y'all all should feel. That's how you should talk to everybody, with that confidence. You shouldn't say it, but you should walk that. You should live that. That should emanate from your spirit. Okay. But how do you become an Einstein, economic Einstein? First of all, there are 4 knowledges, right? The first knowledge is applied knowledge. Okay, this is the hard way. This is when you learn from, your own mistakes. Like when my wife, we were in the other company with the N, and they kept a lot more money than she would have really wanted them to keep. But she wanted her number to get to a certain number, right? And some people say, well, I'm gonna get to $1 million before I take anything out. I'm gonna get to $250,000 before I take anything out. I'm gonna get to $500,000 before I get to, I'm gonna get to $50,000 before I take anything out. That ain't what you was coached on. right? You're thinking with your emotions. You're allowing your emotions to think for you. You're not allowing your head to think for you. Okay. I'm pulling money out every day. We sleep in the same bed, right? She has the same conversations. But she said, you know what? When I get to this point, I'm gonna take it out. She got a lot out, but she didn't get what she wanted to get out. This time around, the first hour, she was taking it out every day. Every day, 24 hours, 24 hours and 5 minutes. It's coming out every day because she learned from her experiences, right? Experience is the best teacher, right? I like to learn from everybody else's experiences. I want to see you mess up. Tell me your stories, how you mess up, so I can know how y'all think I stayed married so long. Because I listened to all my buddies who lost their marriages. I listened to all the women who lost their marriages, and I learned from them and their past experiences. At this rate, I'm gonna die married, right? I'm just because I know from everybody's experience and some of mine, but most of y'all's. When I say y'all, people out there in the universe who I watch, applied knowledge, guys. This is when you look at this. These are the people who have a lot of times they have high academic IQs, but low economic IQs, financial IQs, right? And the relationship that they have with money is a volatile relationship. They don't go to Vegas, but they still gamble, right? They make bad decisions. They bet on the wrong people, right? They take shortcuts, cut corners, and it basically because they don't want to pay the full price. And a lot of times, the full price is not even what you invest in a platform like this. The full price is what you invest with your time, energy, and effort, basically learning what you do, learning what you're supposed to learn so you can actually be successful in it, right? And so these are the people, again, they deal with people who are not credentialed, right? They'll like give, how many of y'all, I already know that I'm gonna get a lot of ones on this. How many of y'all have ever had somebody besides a tax attorney do your taxes? Besides H&R Block, you had a cousin, you had a brother, you had a friend, you had a family member, right? They did your taxes, right? That's dangerous. Just by the way, that is extremely dangerous, by the way, because again, you have somebody who you're taking a chance on, and because they're not going to charge you, right, what the next company or firm is going to charge you, but because you saved some money, you went with your cousin. Okay, well, this is what happens because you don't want to pay the full price for the firm. You end up paying more than that because you paid your cousin, brother, sister, friend, partner, for some of y'all, right? You paid them, then you paid the fine from the IRS, and then you paid the firm that had to go back and do it all over again. So now you pay way more than what you was going to pay the firm to begin with, right? Does that make sense to anybody? Am I talking to anybody? Does that make sense to anybody? Because again, that's what happens, guys. When you're not willing to pay the full price, guys, you're gonna pay the cost. You're gonna pay it one way or the other. I just say, I don't know what your color or your flavor now later is, grape, cherry, strawberry. You're gonna pay me now or you're gonna pay me later, right? But you're gonna pay me, right? So, but as a result, it ends up being way more expensive than it would have because you hired somebody, like a shade tree mechanic. You had somebody do something that somebody should have did, a plumber, electrician, you know what I'm saying? You can put the whole block out. Nobody got lights because you had your cousin come and jimmy your electric box. And y'all know people like that. You know what I'm saying? That's why some of y'all are them people. That's why some of y'all laughing. I can see you. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know real personal, like. So these are the things, guys. Think about it for a second. When you look at people in transactions, give an example. When you actually have two people in a transaction, some of y'all have heard me say this before, when you have two people in a transaction, one person has the experience, like your cousin, right? That's on your taxes, fixing your car, or doing something in your house, some whatever it is, and you have the money. When y'all come together in that transaction, the person with the experience leaves with your money and you leave with that experience, and it's going to be a bad one. Pay the full price, guys. Pay the full price. Be willing to pay the full price. Don't be cheap in things that, like I said, don't be cheap with things that matter. You can shop at Kohl's, Target for your clothes, but don't do that for stuff that matters. All right. Number two, modeled knowledge. Okay. This is from association. This is where you get a chance to watch people and how they move, how they behave. Like this is where you have leaders that you have the Joe Coynes of the world, who again is by far the best structure builder that we have. You have Dr. Marikas of the world. You have the Dale Boudreaux, you have the April, the April Rose, you have the Beverly Pitts, you got the Carly Gwynns, you got people who are out there grinding the forest, Forest Knights of the world, 𝐍𝐎𝐓 𝐅𝐎𝐑𝐃𝐑𝐃 in Africa. You got people who are building things the right way, right? And you get a chance to watch them. You get a chance to learn, from them modeling for you. Remember, I tell you, be the prototypical business model, right? These are the prototypes, and you're learning from the prototypes. We had guys in the last business group that we were part of. For years, they watched our leader and they modeled them to the point to where they would have their tongue hanging out of their mouth like he did when he talked. They would have their voices and their mannerisms mimic the leader. Like, I'm not giving up my identity, but I am stealing all of your nuggets, right? But it was so bad that on a leadership call, a millionaire mentorship call, what they called it, I was a mindset call. On their millionaire mentorship call, one night we were out at dinner with my leader, who was sitting right there with me, and his wife and my wife, and they listened in on the call. We were just listening on the call just to kind of see how it was going. And the guy who was, one of the top leaders who had been there for a while was doing the call, and our leader's wife looked at her husband and looked at the phone and said, this dude sounds exactly like you, literally. And so that's extreme. I'm not giving myself up. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to be me 2.0 because you modeled for me and I took what I can learn from you. But that, again, that's modeling knowledge. Kobe modeled, Jordan, right? LeBron came in and put 23 on his back, right? Harold Miner was supposed to be the next Michael Jordan, right? Everybody's like Mike. Everybody want to be like Mike, right? So again, modeling knowledge. People who consistently increase their economic IQ normally do so when they're in the climate of winners. Okay, when they're in the climate of winners, when there's evidence, of winning and people knowing what they're doing, there's evidence, of expertise and excellence, guys. People thrive in that because they have something to feed off of. They have somebody to follow. They have somebody to look at. They have somebody to model after, right? They learn indirectly through watching others go through their experiences and then duplicate the useful things and discard the mistakes that person made. More common in relationships and business, right? But what I say, the same also goes for people that have stagnant or non-progressing financial IQs, because the environments that they were raised in and the people that they were raised around have been conditioned to accept current situation as normal and permanent. Remember, if you hang around bad people and you're a great human being, it's only a matter of time before you become one because of what they model. If you're a horrible human being and you're relegated to, associate with amazing people by immersion and you didn't have a choice, you start to evolve and get better because you don't have a choice, right? At some point in time, it's going to, have its effect on you. It's going to have its impact on you. It's going to change your verbiage, your language, and everything. Okay, model knowledge is model knowledge good or bad? You're going to learn how to become a failure. You're going to learn how to become a winner, right? But again, that's why I say choose the people who you model, right, after very, very carefully. The third thing that we have here, as we wrap up with the last two, learned knowledge. Learned knowledge. That's through programs like ours. Okay. Millionaire mindset calls. Okay. Crash camps. Right. Mogul weekend events, leadership boot camps, mogul weekend money things. Is like everything that we do. These are things that you can learn from, right? We're continually developing tools, guys, programs, courses, books, tapes, audio, seminars based on real life experiences. Everything that we do, we teach. We always teach 100% from application. So if we're out here moving around and we're teaching this stuff on these calls, and you're present, you're showing up for your own rescue, you're getting nuggets. This is learned knowledge. Learned knowledge. Okay, you have a lot of y'all went to school. You learned, based on what the teachers taught you. You learned. This is no different. You're in school. This is business university. This is Millionaire Mindset 101A or whatever it is. If you've been here for a while, it's 2.0, 3.0, but you're learning nonetheless, right? Every one of these calls, guys, I don't care how many times you've heard them, you're listening to them from another level. So you're always learning. Your brain is always picking up new nuances that you missed or that your brain wasn't conditioned to receive, the last time. When you're brand new, you're fresh, and you're hearing it for the first time, some of the stuff you're not going to agree with because we have different philosophies, and that's fine. But the more and more you listen, the more and more your brain stops saying error, 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 right? Does not compute, right? And it starts to allow that information because now your brain is programmed to receive positive information. Your brain is programmed to receive financial information or whatever it is, positive information, personal development information. Now you program your brain to where now all your brain wants to have is that information that's going to help it. You're going to learn it, okay? But one of the most common mistakes that people who receive high marks in learning institutions make is this: they confuse their academic IQ with their economic IQ. They're not congruent. You can be an academic excellent achiever, you can be an economic IQ moron. Remember, there are a lot of highly intelligent people in the world that retire broke. There's a lot of highly intelligent people who got A's and B's, straight A's in high school, straight A's in college, and they work for the people who make C's and D's. You've heard this from day one. That's because it's the truth. It has nothing to do with your academics. It has everything to do with who you are in the moment that you're present with somebody who's made millions of dollars and who can teach you how to do the same exact thing. The person who you are at that moment will determine how successful you will be, or how long you stay in poverty, or how long you stay average, or how long you stay living check to check. My wife will tell you, we were in a company, the coffee company, it was turmoil when we got there. When we first got there, people didn't even know my sponsor and I didn't speak for 6 months because my sponsor, took people from my group in the last company and brought them over to the coffee company without us knowing, behind our back. So for me, I'm emotionally sophisticated. I'm saying, I don't have anything better in my portfolio than this company right here, right now. And they have a system that's set up right now where even if they don't want to train me, Beverly, you got to, because I get to choose whether I get on a millionaire mentorship call or not. I get to choose whether I come to the events or not. And my thing was, I'm choosing to participate. I'm choosing to plug in. I'm choosing to go solo and do everything I need to do because my people need it and because I need it. So I made a decision, regardless of the emotion of what happened, to go out here and do what my job is to do, which is go out there and make the decision to do what's required, period. If it is to be, it's up to me, right? And so that's important, right? Number 4, the last one. Mentored knowledge, specialized knowledge. This is information you don't have access to, right? Unless you actually have enough money to pay for it. Okay. So again, mentored knowledge. When you earn the right to be mentored, you earn the right to have access, direct access to people who have, again, the resume that you want to have. That's special. You've done something that 93, 94% of the people walking the face of earth, won't do. It's not that they can't do it, they can do it. They just haven't made a decision or refuse to make a decision to, or they don't see the value of it. Remember, there's no shortage of mentors. There's a shortage of people who have the value for mentors. The mentors everywhere you go. Yeah. But mentored knowledge, specialized knowledge, this is a transference of wisdom. All right. This is like an information dump, but it's specialized information. I literally, guys, put myself in a position where not only did, I stay in the company where people took people out of my old group and brought it into their groups, into this new company, I made them work for me. I made them teach me everything that they know. I made them help me put people in business. I helped them. I made them help me build an organization that still pays me 25 grand a month. And I haven't said nothing about that company in almost 5 years. But it was because of the decision I made when I wasn't making no money, when we had just got started. See, everybody would say, I love to be able to earn money like you. I'll do anything to make your type of money. And that's not true, because when I was in that same company and things like that happened to those people, other people, they bailed or they cried about it or whatever it was. They didn't make the same decision. Making $100,000 in this company, but in 30 days is really easy, because all I did was apply everything that I learned in the last company where we made our first millionaire. That stuff never leaves you. It's something nobody can ever take away from you guys. That's why you want to remember, this is the information age, right? This is where you want specialized information. This is where you want, see, I have enough information right now to create courses and books based on how many calls I've been on. That's the thing. I have experiences that I can publish, experiences that I can monetize. Nobody does anything the way we do it, period. If you're brand new to this group, you have zero idea what it feels like to be in anything other than this. You're born with a silver spoon in your mouth when it comes to groups. You're rich, you were born rich, basically. But go to another group if you want to and see how that happens, see how that works out. You come back home running and kicking the fact, man, you heard? Oh, man, they were raised wrong. Nah. It's like, I'm just telling you, again, you will end up in life in direct proportion to the people who you attach yourself to. If you have high-value women and high-value men in your life, all through your life, people who are going places, people who already have what you want out of life, it's only a matter of time, because they're going to mentor you on how to get there. And so this is where I'm gonna read a little bit of this stuff. This is from the book of Being, by the way. This is from Beverly. This is from August 27, 2015, Bev. So this is where the impact, guys, can be most dynamic, because you not only respect the person's results, you respect the person enough to adopt their philosophies and their wealth principles. See, if you ever notice, I ain't gonna say that word, but I don't ever cuss and moan about people not coming on the Millionaire Mindset call. I can have 30 people on the Millionaire Mindset call on Zoom and 30 on Facebook, and I wouldn't care, because it's not about the quantity of the number that's on it, it's about the quality. Because what other people like, oh man, he got 35, he got 45 people on Zoom, and he got 38 people on Facebook. He don't even have 90 people. He don't have 100 people on his most important call. Remember, 3% of the people own 90% of the wealth around the world. The 3%ers control the massive amounts of money. I don't do quantity. I do quality. I do quantity through quality. Remember, it only takes a few people to get rich. It don't take a whole lot. It was the same amount of people on these calls that are on now, plus maybe 40 or 50 more when we first got started, that helped me make 100 grand in the first 30 days. That helped me get to $7,000 a day in 30 days. So it's not about me wanting or needing a crowd. I just need people who understand where they're at in this time in the history, and we can go out here and do something special together. That's where the magic happens. You need a mentor. You don't need a mob. The masses, guys, the masses are never right. Anyway, you see a lot of people making a lot of decisions, go to a different direction. Go in a different direction, right? But choose your mentors, well, like I said earlier, and ensure that they've created a resume of results through other people that are in line with your goals. I don't follow people who haven't created results through other people that I want to see in my life. That's why people are like, dude, you should have left the company a long time ago. First of all, y'all didn't have a person that I can trust and follow in those companies that was worth me leaving. I'd rather make less money here with the leadership that I got than go over there with y'all and because they lack leadership, the company go out of business. And y'all don't have a system. Y'all just have high energy because the company is new, right? I make leadership decisions, not quantity, popular decision, okay? But continuing on with this one, because this is very, very important. I want to try to get all of this one. You earn the privilege to learn from people whose economic IQ is higher than most, not yours, but most. They are the minority, but they control the majority. They are the minority, but they control the majority. They have access to people that have mastered the art of readjusting their financial thermostats and normally at the top of the wealth class. The thing that I can tell you about, people who are extremely wealthy, they don't get emotional. Something like this happens, but you got to go to those. Okay, they pivot. They're flexible. Okay, what's next? How do we navigate around it? What do we need? What's the next step? Right? Dale, you've been a part of Fortune 500 companies forever. Have any of those companies just say, you know what, that didn't work, let's just close down and go out of business? Or did they adjust? They adjusted. Okay, and so you are an entity. You Inc. You should adjust. You should learn how to adjust. You should learn how to be emotionally sophisticated. You should learn how to pivot in trying times. You should learn how to have hard conversations in trying times. You should learn how to come up with a lot of resolutions for people who make decisions so you can add to the value of the decision that's being made, right? All the time, right? And so they have access to people that you would never have access to. They have access to systems that you would never have access to, right? That's why you want to, again, plug yourself into them. These are people that, let's see here. The people that are qualified these are the people that are qualified financial mentors, financial coaches are normally the ones that create the economic climate and environment that everyone else must perform in. If you ever look in companies, guys, we've always been, people that in our last 4 or 5 companies, every company we went in, we came in and changed the culture of those companies. We came in and put those companies on our backs. Every last one of them. Every last one. Is there anybody on here that Joe Organo? Our group was the top 3, second or third group in Organo. Not Organo, CyberWise. I'm going way back, CyberWise, right? Top 2, top 3. Then with the YTB, everybody was leaving YTB. Everybody. We went to YTB, everybody came back. I ain't never seen people leave a company and come back. But we blew it up so big that when we blew it up, they start coming back. They built everything around us. When we went to Organo, we created so many millionaires in Organo that everybody who were in other companies who were making $20,000, $1,000, $100,000 a year, they came because we had people making $100,000 a month. Just telling you. So that's why we're not surprised with what we do. We're just surprised that people are not smart enough to see what we have and what we're doing, and that they would rather sit on the sideline or play for another team while we get rich together. I don't get emotional about people who don't join me. If I have an emotion, it's the emotion of me feeling sorry for a person. Because I know who I am. I know what we're going to do. I just feel sad sometimes they won't have an opportunity to be a part of it. Period. Okay. But their results will stretch you because you're being in their presence, guys. Again, with their current results makes you uncomfortable. So you have to become more of who you are so you can earn more of what you want. Being around people, guys, they stretch you. Like every time my mentor walked in a room, the value of that room increased. The room got richer. That's what mentorship stuff do, guys. When everybody, now you go from your group just saying, man, this dude is phenomenal, to the company saying, man, this dude is phenomenal, to the industry saying, man, this lady is phenomenal. That's mentorship. And everybody wants to, and this is the thing, you have people who are not even in your mentors group that value them more than you do because you take them for granted. Nobody should, if you got people who are making $100,000 a month, you shouldn't be making $1,000 a month. You should be making $5,000 a month. You should be somewhere around the 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to $50,000 a month. Just by proximity. Because when you're in proximity, you tend to do the right thing if you hit with the spirit. Like literally, there's nowhere in the world you can be talking about millions of dollars, how to do it, step by step, giving me the layout, and you're giving it to everybody. Oh, Dale, you remember the time, I forgot what event it was, a Sapphire boot camp, and I had a seat that was nowhere close to the whiteboard. When they brought the whiteboard out, I was the only person moved. I got up and walked to the front, and I kneeled down right by the whiteboard, and I took notes and I recorded everything he said while I was taking notes. Always a student. I don't have an ego when it comes to me making millions of dollars because you have the blueprint. People who have egos, big egos, they have small bank accounts and they lie a lot. They lie about what they have. That's the only way they can recruit you. If you say, open up your back office and show me how much money you made, they ain't gonna be able to do it. Oh yeah, system down. Oh yeah, we can't find a network. No, it's just, why I gotta show you my back office to recruit you? I ain't got nothing to hide, but you hiding because you're not showing nobody nothing. Make millions of dollars in front of me and watch what I do. We're gonna have lunch, I'm gonna pay for it. We're gonna have dinner, I'm gonna pay for it. I'm gonna fly you in, or I'm gonna fly to you. I gotta get that information because it's valuable, it's vital. If I don't go get the information, Donna can't make money. Sheila can't make money. If I don't go get the information, Dr. Arlene's daughter never ever shows up, right? And so you got to find your mentors, but then you have to evolve to become the mentor. You have to be the person that people are getting mentored knowledge from. You got to become the person where people are transferring the wisdom from, right? And generally, you will never be mentored by someone of significance unless they can see the results that you actually have. And they don't really care about you making a ton of money or you having a ton of money. Mentors only care about you having the same philosophy and principles that they have. You could be flat broke, but if you believe like them and you're willing to work like them, they'll invest time, energy, and effort and resources in you. I've done it. And it didn't work 100% of the time because some people lie a lot. You know what I'm saying? They lie in a lot of different ways, in a myriad of ways, right? And people tell you how many people they had in their group in the last company. And I'm gonna just tell you, when a person tell you that, guys, how many times have y'all ever heard me say how many people I had in my old companies? Not a lot, right? If at all. Matter of fact, most of y'all couldn't tell me how many people in my biggest company, you couldn't tell me how many people I had in my group. Some of y'all know now because of the screenshots, but I've had over 100,000 people in one of my groups. $1.2 million a month in volume coming in, but I don't talk about that stuff. And I'm the one did it. I'm responsible for it. But you'll have people who talk about it all the time. Their uplines did it for them. And that's why they're talking about it a lot, because they want to take the credit for what their upline did so they can use that story to recruit you. And it's all a lie. It's a sham. And then when you get started with them and you realize that person really don't know nothing, you signed up with a dud. Oh man, yeah, you didn't do your research. Okay. You gotta go do your research on people. You gotta fact check. Call people out. Well, let me see your schedule. Let me see your calendar. I mean, I ask people for their calendar. If you don't mind, let me see what your day looks like. If you want to be my sponsor, you want to do business with me, you want to be my sponsor, let me see what kind of volume you're moving. What was your personal investment? What are you getting back, every day? What are you getting back every week? What are you getting back every month? Because I want to know what I can expect when I do what you do or more. Don't be scared to ask people these questions. If a person's got the audacity to ask you to join them, you should have the audacity to ask them some questions, because this is business. This ain't personal. A lot of y'all do personal friendship handshake business with people who are not worthy of being in business with, right? And then you get mad at those people because you made a bad decision. Okay. Just want to make sure we flow in here. Just want to make sure we flow in here. And I'll wrap this up. I don't even know what it is, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Here it is. As a rule of thumb, you should always try to qualify to become someone's mentor. That said that preparing for the responsibility alone increases your economic IQ. Remember, when you are in the system and you're learning how to master the system and maneuver around the system and help people make money in the system, help yourself make money, you're mastering the system, you're increasing your economic IQ, because what you do, you can teach. Guys, you have to become more valuable to society, right? And the way you do that is put yourself in a position where you can mentor people. If you don't know how to explain a three-way or do one, if you don't know how to do a lifeline, if you don't know how to do a presentation, your value is very, very minimal to none. If you're out here serving, presenting, training, hosting, whatever it is you're doing, R&D in like Lakeland, or helping us launch, Facebook groups like Dr. Marika, doing videos like 𝐍𝐎𝐓 𝐅𝐎𝐑𝐃, and yeah, if you're bringing value, to the system, right? But if you're doing nothing, you have no value. If you're bringing value, that means you're learning and you're actually putting yourself in a position where you can make way more money, because when you're doing those things, especially on video, people see you. You have more visibility. Okay. You're showing people that you are a leader. You're leading. Okay? You're out front. I always remember this: the person that teaches the most learns and earns the most, only if, and I say only if, they have mastered what they applied after they learned it from someone with the results. Only if, guys. So we used to have what we call the 40-40 plan, and this over here is PB36, right? And you put 36 people in business, you're gonna make a lot of money, but you're not gonna make the money you should have made. When you put 36 people in business and you just put them in, these people don't come to the calls, they don't come on crash camps, they don't learn how to sharpen their skill sets, they don't learn how to become recruiters or presenters. You just got a lot of people who are staking. Okay. But when you put them through the process, you put them through the system, you have 36 animals. You have 36 people on your front line that behave just like you or better, who are hungry just like you or better. And they'll go out there and get 36 people just like you or more. And instead of them sitting there and just staking. Anybody picking up what I'm putting down right now? You understand what I'm saying right now? This is how you get rich, guys. This is how you make a flat out fortune. Okay. This is how you make a fortune. So all the greatest leaders and people that have created most wealth in the world once had a great mentor. If you start building, they will come. What do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the grease. When you guys do stuff, I don't know anything about it until you do something and somebody tells me about it, right? Like, one of my favorite people, in this situation is Jeremy Dennis. I didn't know anything about Jeremy Dennis, didn't know Jeremy Dennis existed until Joe Cohen started talking about it. And Joe Cohen was not even his sponsor. But Joe Cohen, again, has been a mentor by me for a long time. So Joe knows I'm always looking for somebody to focus on, right? Always looking for somebody to focus on. So when you have leaders and you're building, okay, like Forrest, Carly talked about Forrest a lot because Forrest is killing it, right? When you have leaders that talk about you, we just look and say, oh, he did what? She did what? Oh, I want to talk to them. Okay, I want to talk to them because before that, you're in an incubator. You like the chicken at Popeyes that just sit there under the lamp. You stay warm till somebody come pick you up, right? Somebody make an order. Ivan, hey, you know what I'm talking about? I'm just saying, you sitting there, you know what I'm saying, waiting. You're preparing, right? You're warming up, staying warm because you're close to the system. You're under the lamp, right? And then all of a sudden, you do something, they come and pick you up, put you in a box. Okay? Not a lot of room in that box. Only a couple pieces of chicken making in that box. Just like mentorship. Mentors don't mentor a ton of people. They mentor up to 5 people effectively. So you in that little 6-piece box, a little 5-piece box, 3-piece box, I got Jeremy in a box now. Right? And that's what it's about. It's about I got April Rowe in a box now. Okay? Because Dr. Marika talks about it all the time. Earl LaSalle is in the box. He was an SVP. Well, about to be SVP. He was $70,000 away from SVP. Right? But these are people who people talked about that they talked about to their mentors because those people understand the moment I have somebody that's ready to be, taken to the next level, all that does is I get a chance to put Earl LaSalle over here, and I get a chance to go over here and work with somebody else while Earl's value is growing. Let me share with you what most of you guys will do. Well, not most of you guys, because you guys have character. This is the people outside the group. If you find somebody that's hot and you want to hatch them, like you want to hatch them as the person that you created, right? You want to take all the credit for everything that they did. And you want to sit there and what you do is you put a lid on their growth. You cap their growth because of your ego. I want everybody to know I'm responsible for it. I built Dale. I built Donna. You know what I'm saying? I want the credit. I want the cash. I'm handing them off, right? You're more qualified, okay? You're going to use your brain to get them to a place that I can't get them to. So I'm going to find somebody else that I can pass off. Now I have one leg plus the second leg, I'm going to come over and pass off to you. And next thing you know, while you with your ego over here, you got 3 people that's over there working and they're not reaching their potential because you got it capped. I got 3 people over here that's working with an animal, my mentor. Okay? You got to put yourself in that position, guys, to where you become the mentor. Always have a goal. Like if there was somebody that would actually mentor you, that would be above me, that should be your goal to get to that person. I'm at the top of the group. But again, as I say, if you are Sarah, that's your mom. She can get you to some really good places. She's got a skill set that a lot of people don't have, right? But in this situation, you should be in a position to say, Mom, I love you, but I got to get beyond you. Right? April, same thing. Dr. Marika, I love you, but you've got me to this point. Now I got to get to the next point. And I got to get to, you got to have a goal. I've always had a goal to always get to the highest position of being mentored in any group that I was in. And I've always gotten there. Over the past 6 or 7 years, 6 or 7 companies, I've always gotten there. Because it's not your responsibility. It's not you don't have the right to keep me from that position if I earn it. That's not your decision. You don't get to decide that. I do. Okay? In this situation, there's an option of winning and losing. And I'm just not taking the L. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. There's no choice because one, there's no time limit on it. Two, I'm gonna do it until it break you. You're gonna give in and you're gonna give me time because you won't have a choice. I'm gonna force you to. Directly and indirectly, but it's gonna happen. Okay. But those are the 4 knowledges, guys. Okay. Applied knowledge, modeled knowledge, learned knowledge, and mentored knowledge. Master these knowledges, guys, and commit to them. And commit to them. And watch what happens. Watch what your commitment turns into. It can turn into a dynasty. It did for me. I have a portfolio of amazing people, human beings that I can just tell you right now, if somebody had if somebody had an understanding of what I had my hands on, they'd make me an offer for y'all. And I wouldn't be worth selling. I'm sorry. Because what we plan on doing together, guys, they can't pay me for it. So I love y'all. Y'all already know this to be true. Okay. Don't know what we did to deserve you guys, but we're going to continue to do everything in our power to make sure we put you guys in a position that you get all your goals and dreams accomplished, and we protect you from the people out there that mean you harm. Okay. So with that being said, if I am each and every last one of y'all, right, I'm probably texting everybody who what's on here and making sure they get back on here at some point in time and watch this call, just because. It don't even matter if it was a great call or not. It just matters that they get into the routine of being present, okay, as opposed to being absent. 80% of success is what? It's showing up. And I just say right now, most people, by their attendance, they would already flunk out. They're not committed. That's why I don't care about the people who are not here. I don't like for them to be here, but I care about the people who showed up, because I don't take that for granted. I'm not entitled to your time. Okay, but I appreciate that. So love y'all. Enjoy your evening. Okay, and y'all know where to find me. We'll be in touch. We'll be in tune. We'll be delivering whatever nuggets and whatever information and updates that drop. I love you too, Beth. And so whatever y'all need, y'all know where to find us. Like I said, but guys, let's go out here and make a fortune. Let's go out here and do our thing. Let's go out here and be smart while we're building. Take care. See you guys at the top.